everyone. Are you ready to keep learning about the ocean? So, on Monday, we learned about the ocean ecosystem. Then on Tuesday, we learned about how animals camouflage in with the coral in the ocean and with the water. Today, we're going to read a text called Ocean Animals Working Together. So, we're going to learn all about the animals in the ocean that work together. While I'm reading, I want you to really think about a super fact that you can write after this. Your super fact should tell your reader so much about what you learned. All right, let's listen closely and figure out more about ocean animals. Some animals live together in groups, like reindeer live in herds and wolves live in packs. Does anyone remember why it's helpful for an animal to live in a group? We're going to read more and find out. Living in groups can benefit animals in many ways. It can make it easier for them to stay safe from predators, to get food, and to raise their babies. When animals depend on each other to survive, we say that they're interdependent. Can you say interdependent? So when animals need each other to survive, they're interdependent. In the ocean, some fish live together in groups called shoals. When they move together in one big group, they're called a school of fish. Why do you think it's helpful for fish to live in groups? I wonder if it's similar to the reindeer and the wolves. When one fish in the shoal finds food, the rest follow. With more eyes looking around, fish in shoals find more food working together than each fish would alone. So if one fish is by itself, it might find a little bit of food, but when they're all hunting for food, they have a better chance of finding food for all of them. Most importantly, fish group together for protection. Predators like sharks get confused and have trouble finding a single fish to eat when they're looking at a whole group of moving fish. So this group of fish, they're moving together, they're staying in a circle really tight, and the shark is having a hard time just picking out one fish to eat. They're going to protect each other, those fish. Animals in the whale family, like dolphins, orcas, and humpback whales, live together in interdependent groups called pods. So, interdependent means they all need each other. These humpback whales must have each other to survive, and they're called a pod. Living in a pod helps humpback whales hunt. When the leader finds fish, it communicates back to the rest of the pod. Then some whales dive down and blow a ring of bubbles, like in the second picture right here, around the fish. The bubbles make it really hard for the fish to see. Then the whale swims up towards the surface with their mouth open and catches a whole mouthful of fish. That's pretty smart of them. Pods of orca whales work together to hunt in a different way. So when orcas find a school of fish, the whale herd them into a small area by swimming around them in a circle. So they find the fish and start swimming in a circle around them. Once the fish they swim into a tight school, the orcas hit them with their tails and stun the fish. Would you be stunned if an orca hit you with its tail? I think I would. This makes the fish easy to catch. Scientists call this carousel. The fish, just like a carousel, goes in a circle. So the orcas swim in a circle, and they smack the fish, and the fish are like, "Oh my goodness, what happened?" And the whale comes and eats them. Living in a pod is also a helpful way to protect and care for babies. Adult dolphins in pods work together to protect the young from predators and teach them how to hunt and communicate. Different kind of animals can be interdependent too. They work together to get food or protection. Clownfish, you know clownfish? It's like Nemo, huh? They have an interdependent relationship with sea anemones. A sea anemone are animals that look like a plant with string and tentacles. Almost every ocean animal gets hurt if they're stung by a sea anemone, except for the clownfish. So these sea anemone, you guys, they sting other animals. So if an octopus tried to go in, it would get stung and get hurt. But the clownfish, it doesn't get hurt. So they live in the sea anemone. Bodies of clownfish are covered with the thick coating that protects them from the sea anemone's sting. This allows clownfish to stay safely nestled in the sea anemone's tentacles and protected from predators. See how he just gets right into the sea anemone? The stuff on his skin helps him, doesn't hurt him. Do clownfish help sea anemones in return? We know the sea anemone helps clownfish, but do you think the clownfish help the sea anemone? Let's find out. Clownfish do help sea anemones by finding food. Sea anemones can't move easily to find food, so instead they wait for the clownfish to hide inside of them. When the predator fish follow, they get stung by the and the sea anemone gets a meal. So the clownfish hide inside the little sea anemone slots, and then when the predator fish follows the clownfish, the sea anemone stings it and then gets to eat that fish. Sea anemones have predators too. Remember, a predator means something that eats the sea anemone. And clownfish help protect them. So butterfly fish, like in the picture here, they like to eat sea anemone. And the clownfish act as protectors by clicking their teeth to scare them away. So the clownfish scare off the butterfly fish and protect the sea anemone. So the clownfish and the sea anemone need each other. That means they're interdependent. They can't live without each other. In other interdependent relationships in the ocean, animals carry other animals with them for defense. That means like protection. The carrier crab, he's down here on the bottom, he carries a spiky sea urchin. Do you see the sea urchin on his back? So the sea urchin protects the crab from predators like a knight's shield. So no one can come and get him because he's protected. Sea urchins are usually slow movers, so the sea urchin gets to travel on the crab's back to a new area with new food. Both animals benefit, so they're interdependent. The crab needs a sea urchin to protect them. The sea urchin needs the crab so it can get to new places. Similarly, this pom pom crab, I'm kind of a goofy looking animal, huh? Is holding a small, stinging sea anemone in each of its front claws. So here's the pom pom crab, and here's a sea anemone, and here's a sea anemone. How do you think it benefits the crab to carry the sea anemone? How might sea anemones benefit from being carried by the crab? Do you think they're interdependent? Let's find out. So the crab carries a small sea anemone in each of its front claws to use as a stinging defense against predators. In return, scientists think that the sea anemones are able to find more food because the crab's carrying them around to new areas. So the sea anemone helps protect the crab, and the crab helps the sea anemone find food. They're interdependent because they need each other to survive. So many ocean animals work together and depend on each other. What's one thing you learned about how ocean animals work together in groups? There's the pom pom crab and a sea anemone. There's the fish moving in a circle to confuse the shark. There's the sea anemone protecting the clownfish, and the clownfish protecting the sea anemone. Wow, lots of relationships. All right, friends, now it's your turn to write a fact. Let's go through our glossary to help get our brains thinking about what super facts we could write today. The first word is a school of fish. What do we know about school of fish? We know that groups of fish live together and they're called a school, and they work together to help find food and to protect them from predators. What if a shark comes up? What happens? Yeah, the fish start moving in a circle, and the shark gets really confused because he can't find just one fish. What about a clownfish? What does a clownfish do? Yeah, a clownfish hides in the sea anemone for protection. How does the clownfish help the sea anemone? Yeah, when the butterfly fish comes to eat the sea anemone, The clownfish comes and goes like this and scares them away. What about pods of whales? Do they work together? What do they work together to catch? The pods of whales want the fish. So the pods of whale, when they find their fish, they dive down, they blow a bunch of bubbles, and then the fish can't see anymore, so that they can come and eat all the fishies. What about an orca whale? They do something kind of silly. When they see fish, they swim in a circle and then they smack the fish with their tail and then they can eat them. What about the pom pom crab? What does it hold in its fingers? Yeah, it holds in its claws, it holds the sea anemone to sting things. And in return, they carry the sea anemone around in that way that the sea anemone can get more food. All right, sweet friends, once you have that super fact in your brain, you can watch the next video to figure out what to do during writing today.